This is the cold, hard truth about living with multiple sclerosis. I'm in the hospital, as you can see. So I had to come to the hospital last night, you guys. I started running a fever yesterday and it got all the way up to 103. We were sitting at home last night watching the traders and I could tell I had a fever. I didn't know how bad it was, but it was making my body have no strength. I wasn't able to move. My hands were stuck in this position, frozen. No matter how hard I willed them, I could not move them. I could not move my legs. I had zero strength. We ended up having to call the ambulance because there was no other choice. I needed to come to the hospital. So I got to the ER last night about 10 o'clock. Well, we called the ambulance about 10. So I got here probably about 11. And they immediately gave me a dose of steroids. I got a dose of Solumedrol, and I hung out in the ER portion of the hospital till about 3 a.m. Look, you can see right there, I've got my lovely little IV attachment on my arm because I'm going to get another dosage of antibiotics tonight, and then in the morning I'll get another dose of Solumedrol. They are planning on discharging me tomorrow, so I think Solumedrol is going to be my last medication that they give me, and then they will prescribe me the antibiotics to go pick up at the pharmacy to finish the treatment at home. But look, as you can see right here, I've got plugs hooked up to my chest where they are doing my vitals and my cardio and everything, so they can keep track of everything. Because it was bad. I had 103 fever, which when your fevers are getting that high, like, you gotta come to the hospital. Like, that's really critical at that point. So it turns out I tested positive for not only the flu, but I also have a UTI, which was causing bacteria to get into my blood. So that's why they're doing the IV antibiotics to like get that stuff knocked out ASAP. That's what was causing my fever. Now, mind you, if that was all of the issues, I may not have had to come to the ER. But when you have multiple sclerosis, it compounds on top of everything. As you know, as I've said in other videos, multiple sclerosis makes you very sensitive to heat. Heat, like, literally wipes my body out. I have no strength. I'm not able to do anything. I am useless until I cool back down. Well, with that fever, I wasn't cooling back down. So the MS compounded on top of everything else and forced me to come to the hospital. I had to call the ambulance to get me here last night because I literally could not get up off the couch. I had to have people, EMTs, come and actually like lift me up and get me on a stretcher to get me in the ambulance. My EMT team were so freaking nice. They were so friendly and so loving and accepting towards me and James and Will. Like, they made us feel safe, and they just thoroughly enjoyed having me there, and they made me feel better because I was crying and I get embarrassed, and I know I shouldn't, but I'm a proud person, and I get embarrassed when those things are happening. And the EMT was like, "What are you doing? Like, you don't need to apologize. You don't owe anybody anything. Like, this happens. It's okay." And I was like, "I know, but I couldn't stop crying last night, but it's okay." So in the ER, they gave me those 2 medications. And then I was in there till about 3 in the morning before they moved me to a room in the observatory section. And y'all, when I tell you that room, the AC didn't work. So we had to keep the door open in order to keep the cool air flowing in because, man, it got stifling hot quick if you shut the door. And hello, MS, I can't be in the heat. So it was gross. We couldn't do that. And the bed was so uncomfortable. And between all three of us, we got zero sleep last night. We are running on nothing today. We are all so tired, and I'm thankful to be in a room tonight where we can shut the door and it's cold in here and it's quiet in here, and maybe we'll get some sleep, because God knows we all need to pass out tonight and, oh my God, and catch up. I've had so many visits with like a neurologist, the neurologist's like attendee, and they were very nice, and they made me feel good, because they were like, they even reinforced it that, oh, this absolutely was not your MS that brought all this on. Like, you are doing things right. You are taking your glatopa. You are eating correctly. You are definitely paying attention to diet. And even they told me, they were like, that's super important.
Attention all nurses and staff.
And so,
It's time for your
hang on one
final
second,
all-day
guys.
round.
They
Attention
always
all
come
nurses
on
and
every
staff.
hour
It's
and
time
do
for your
these
final all-day
announcements.
round. Attention all nurses and staff.
Oh, that's going to be annoying as the day goes on.
Attention all nurses
But,
and staff. It's
c'est
time
la
to turn
vie.
your company phones. Thank you.
So, what's really great is that the neurologist attendee reinforced the fact that it's so important to follow a good diet. And I told him I try to be plant-based, like plant strong. And he was like, that's amazing. That's what you need to be doing. He was like, I love that you are focusing on eating correctly and you're following the things you need to do with your neurologist. You are taking your glatopa and you are seeing your doctor and everything. He's like, this was not your MS that caused this, but having MS did not help this situation. So it was great to hear that affirmation from a neurologist here at the hospital that I'm doing good and that I couldn't have prevented this. This was out of my control. I can prevent a lot of things with this disease, but this was not one of them. So that was really nice. And I love that they told me I'm going to get discharged tomorrow. I really didn't even want to be here all day today, but I do agree that I needed the Solumedrol. I'm very happy that they are giving me that dosage. Solumedrol is miraculous for helping cure MS symptoms and everything. So I'm thankful to be getting it, because it will help propel me even further forward to feeling better and like helping kind of push me closer to a finish line of like keeping up with my smoothies and everything. But this gave me that, like, think of it like a race car. Like, this was that NOS boost I needed to get to the finish line. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful because I didn't realize I had these sicknesses. So it's better that I'm getting things taken care of now and getting my body correct. They gave me blood tests and everything, so I know like I'm good. They tested me for COVID, flu, everything. Like, I'm good. This makes me feel great to know that like after tomorrow, like I'm gonna be back to as tip-top shape as I can be with all of my issues going on. Nobody likes being in the hospital. And y'all, I just hate it. Like, it put a little bit of a damper on how this weekend was supposed to go. But it's okay. Like, I'm gonna have to miss work tomorrow, which it's Wednesday was the start of this pay period. I was really excited to really jump into this. Next weekend is President's Day, like, y'all, but I'm only missing one day. I hope I should be able to go back Sunday, and I will get to take sick time, so I'm gonna get paid for tomorrow. Thank God for that. I do thank my company for doing things like that for us to help us out. When I tell you though, last night it was tough. Moments like that, they really break me down, Like, I cried a ton when I was in the ambulance when I first got here, but everyone reinforced it that this is nothing to be upset about. This is nothing to feel embarrassed about. Stop letting your pride cause you to feel those things, because I'm in no control with any of this. Let me stop. I don't. I've cried enough. I can't help these things. All I can do is just keep pushing forward and keep trying to live the best and most fulfilling life I can. And that's what I do. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm just grateful that I get to go home tomorrow, because I miss my bed. I miss my home. I just want to go home. I just want to go home and watch Wicked and just like be in my little bubble for a minute and just get back to me and get back to feeling normal. But that's okay. It's going to happen anyways. So yeah, I can't wait to have this out of my arm, because it does have like a slight sting that's there all day long and it's annoying. And get this thing unhooked from me, because it makes using the bathroom and everything else really obnoxious, because you gotta hold on to it and make sure that's not tugging at the plugs that are plugged into your chest while you're trying to pull your clothes back up and everything, it's a whole thing in and of itself. It takes a village, and I definitely need my village to help me do the simplest little things. But we're getting through it. This is my life with MS, and no one said it's easy. I've never said it was easy, but I'm fulfilled and I'm happy. Oh my goodness, and let me say one more thing. When I was earlier, me and James, they have a Starbucks here in the hospital. We walked over to get a coffee because I needed one. Hello. And while we were there, this girl came walking by and she looked at me and she was like, "Steven?" And I was like, oh my God, I hadn't seen her in years. I used to work with her at my office job, and she was a temp. I haven't seen her in a long time. And it was so cool. And it's so cool that she recognized me, that she remembered me. I remembered her too. Like, can't forget a beautiful face like that. And it was just really cool. We got to give each other a hug and we talked for a couple minutes, and she was like, oh my God. She's like, are you okay? Like, I see all that going on. Like, and I was just like, girl, I was like, I just needed a quick tune up. I'm feeling great though. Like, I promise. Like, I'm just getting my body right and tight and supercharged for my birthday next week. I needed a little tune up, and that's all this is. And it was just really cool. It was really nice to see her. Me and her always had a really good relationship at work. Like, she was always really nice to me. We were always just really cordial, really, really friendly with each other. So that made me happy to see. And she got to find, like, I remember I had always told her about James, so she finally got to meet him, and she was like, now I see. She's like, I love that y'all are still together. She's like, all these years later, all these years stronger. Yes. It was just really cool. So this has actually been a fulfilling experience here that I wasn't expecting at the hospital. And like I said, the nurse staff, everyone's been great. Just who wants to be at the hospital though? Who wants to be here if you don't have to be? But I had to be. And I get to go home tomorrow. Thank God it was only like a 2-day stay and not a whole week like it could have been, like I've had to do in the past with this disease. But it's okay. We are stronger. My birthday's next week. This little tune-up got me feeling good. Like, it's gonna be a great birthday week coming up, and I'm just super excited. Like, this was just a little minor inconvenience, but you know what? Those things happen, and we just keep moving on, and life keeps on lifing, and we just keep on living in the moment and loving the experience. And that's all I gotta say. Like, don't let it get you down. It got me down for a good minute last night, but you know what? I'm working on it, and that's all I can do. Anyways, thank you guys for listening and for being here with me, and I will catch you guys in the next video. You know, I love you guys so much, and I appreciate your support and being here with me. Thank you guys.